The first week in June has come and gone, and there's been a lot to talk about in the wrestling world. Everything from promos, matches, a little bit more sexy red, and NXT Battleground is happening right now. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to talk to you guys about wrestling. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the We Book It Wrestling Podcast. You are here with the We Book It boys, Virgil, Coach, Big Daddy C, standing in tonight. We are without Fritos. Unfortunately, Fritos is did he say he got hit over the head with like a frozen banana or something like that? What was that? Was it
was something like
migraine
just came out of nowhere.
Banana came out of nowhere, frozen, just smacked him right in the head. It was.
Tank's been pretty quiet ever since that happened. So
true. It probably was Tank that threw that banana at his head. So get well, Fritos. Like I said, we're gonna hold it down for you tonight, make you proud. First and foremost, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot thank enough for the subscribers, for the people that watch or listen every single episode. If you love this podcast, you think that we're dope, you love what we're talking about, what I need you to do is go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. This is your first time viewing us. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to pod. We got a lot of laughs, a lot of good time, and a lot of wrestling to talk about. So without further ado, we're going to start with Monday Night Raw. Big Daddy C, take us through. Oh, sorry. Coach, take us through Monday Night Raw.
I was about to say, hang on now. Don't switch it up on me.
Sorry, guys. I'm still rusty from vacation. My bad. Give me a couple more weeks. Let me get back in the swing of things.
All right. So Monday Night Raw kicks off with Liv Morgan coming out to the ring and cutting a promo talking about how her revenge tour is just getting started against Rhea Ripley. And she said not only will she want to take her title, but she also wants to take her man, and that's Dirty Dom Mysterio. Sure enough, Mysterio comes on out, trying to plead his case about what happened the week before, and a little sexual tension ignites in the ring, and then Finn Balor becomes the ultimate cock block and ruins the segment. Or breaks it up, I should say. I won't say ruin, but broke up the segment to save Dom. And that was that. Fellas, your thoughts? Big Daddy C, I think you, judging by your headline there at the bottom of your name, you might have something to say about it.
Man, I would have folded if I was, bro, like, for real. Like, I don't know how he showed so much composure, man. I just don't. And Finn out here cock blocking. I'm like, bro, like, what we doing, Finn? Like, stay away. This ain't got nothing to do with you, man. Chill out. But no, I think after a while, I feel like they gonna hit us with the big bombshell, like Edge and Lita did when she betrayed Kane and helped Edge win in the tournament. So I think we gonna get something like that at some point, and then Dom finally is gonna win day and go on and do his own thing, and so I can't wait for that to happen. I'm like, dude, just embrace Liv, man. Embrace her. It won't hurt. It won't hurt, man.
Actually, it just might, because when Rhea Ripley gets back, it's over with, bro. She's gonna kill that boy.
Hey, but if anything, it's a win-win situation for him and wrestling fans. That means, he's no longer with Rhea Ripley. Like, mommy is freed, but also he gets Liv as a backup, and then everyone. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you foresee this ending in an intergender match between Dom and Rhea?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Who would be Rhea's? Who would be? Oh, you mean like just Dom going against Rhea Ripley?
Dom
1-on-1?
versus Rhea Ripley. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be fair. I mean, wrestling fans will probably want to see it just for the humor of it all. Because considering how their relationship started, her putting him in a leg lock and everyone losing their minds. It was like the genesis of all of this. As much as we like to see that again, and her hit him with the riptide and do her her famous pin celebration. Now I don't want to see it. I'm good on that. Let Dom get Liv, and they move on, and she deals with Liv in the way that she needs to deal with her. But now I want to see her and Dom go at it, man. It wouldn't be fair, but it'd be appealing to the eye, but just not fair to see him get his ass whooped the whole time.
The Wrestling News Observer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Rhea Ripley is rehabbing her shoulder right now instead of having surgery on it. She's not currently scheduled for SummerSlam, but if the storyline calls for it, she could end up appearing at SummerSlam, or maybe even if she gets healthy quicker than expected. So she's not doing surgery on the shoulder. This could end up coming back to bite her in the butt if it turns out that she's just prolonging the inevitable. But I mean, we'll just have to see what happens.
All right, now moving right along. So we did have a couple matches in between our next major segment. We had Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, and they put on a pretty good match. Kaiser ended up getting the win after a cheap shot against Sheamus. We also had Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor. Again, pretty solid match, but nothing too crazy to talk about there. We move on to our next segment, which is the Alpha Academy coming out to talk to Sami Zayn, where Sami is pleading with them to leave the Alpha Academy, and that the only way that Chad Gable will even end his feud with Sami is if he has his IC title match, which he does against him at Clash of the Castle. But the big story was how Gable completely unhinged going after his students, and Otis showing that glimpse of standing up to him, and the pop to him was amazing. So, guys, your thoughts on that whole segment?
Chad Gable's contract is almost up. He's up for an extension, and so Dave Meltzer heard that WWE has made an excellent offer. But there are key people in AEW pushing Tony Khan to try to sign him as well. So Chad Gable's got some decisions to make, and I think him winning the IC title kind of depends on those decisions. They're not going to put that strap on him at Clash at the Castle if he's going to just turn around and leave once his contract expires. So, again, I think in good faith, Triple H might book him to win it. But you never want to book yourself into a Jeff Jarrett type of situation where he ain't re-signing, he's leaving, and you got a belt on him. And you got to figure out what to do with that and how to write him off the story as quickly as possible. So, it'll be interesting, but the crowd reaction to Otis, I mean, he's just a likable guy. He's an everyday type of superstar that people just like. He reminds you more of the common man. I mean, everything from the mullet. I mean, he looks just like Jelly Roll for the most part. Like I said, so I mean, he's a common man.
God.
He's an everyday type of man. So I mean, a lot of people can relate to that. Man. And I mean, again, everybody kind of knows Otis's story, and they kind of feel for him in the way Chad Gable is treating him. So coming out of this, Chad Gable is essentially making Otis into a bigger star, which is the key sign of a good wrestler to keep on your roster. So if I was WWE, I'd be striving to keep him as well. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I don't see him see them losing Gable. I think he has too much like potential to like, I won't say carry them, but like definitely be that one of those like top guys on the roster that can bring in the money, that can like attract, like keep their fans, especially considering like what they've been teasing at with him and the what's the tag team again? I keep forgetting their names.
Creed Brothers.
They're trying to get him with Creed Brothers, yeah. So we've been seeing like teases of of him like talking to them in the background during other segments, and so I think Triple H is playing a long game. I feel like he'll get him re-signed. It's just one of those situations where we got to wait it out.
They've invested in him.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point they work itself out. I just don't see Gable jumping ship, because if he jumps ship, they're in the part. It seems like they've been working with TNA, and they're probably more likely going to be working with TNA a lot more over the next coming months. So, like, if he does jump ship, TNA would probably be the best spot for him to go. I don't see him going to AEW. Like, there's no point. Like, Tony Khan is just going to ruin him. So,
bad booking.
I think stay with WWE or go to TNA. Either way, I think with TNA he'll probably get lost some good talent over there in TNA.
What? Wait a minute. What? This is a new development.
I think you meant AEW.
What? No, TNA got some decent talent, man.
Claude, I thought you hated TNA.
No, I don't. No, I hate it when I like the early TNA days. Like I like the early TNA up until like when they up until the Dixie Carter stuff, and then I kind of like drifted away. And when they finally rebranded as Impact, then I stopped watching. But I never really hated like how they were doing with Impact, and so I had stopped watching for a period of time. But yeah, no, I don't. Overall, in the grand scheme of things, I don't hate TNA. And then when they went back to TNA, I was like, all right, y'all may get me back on board, So, but yeah, TNA they've always had good talent. I just didn't like how they were like using the talent and all the crap they were doing. So like now I'm like starting to get back on board. We just got to get Moose, like get the title off Moose and get him going. Then we'll be fine. But overall, yeah, I'm good with TNA, man. Like, and I don't really hate any wrestling promotion, honestly. I'm like, wrestling as popular as it's been in a long time, like overall, like, so I think, and especially when you see like different wrestling promotions working together, and, allowing the creative opportunities to be what they are. So I'm good with TNA. I never really hated it. I just hate it. I hate it. Impact. But back to it.
I'm gonna just tell you right now, you got to get that Moose hate out your heart, Claude. You got to get it out,
bro. Ever since he got on the scene, you gotta
let it go, man. He's good, man.
I will tell you this. This is how much I do not like this man Moose. I would much rather end up on a Joe Hendry train than ever support Moose.
He just said his name.
He said it.
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
That's how much I do not like Moose, man. I'm telling you, bro. Like that. Hey, he just doesn't. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. But go ahead, Coach.
All right. Moving on to our next match, and I bring this one up as significance for two reasons, because of the news that we got. I believe it came out yesterday, but Braun Breaker versus Ricochet, and heck of a match by both of these men. The athleticism in the ring was awesome. Breaker obviously came away with the win, but it made Ricochet look strong. But that's kind of a side note now, after we had just found out that Ricochet will not re-sign with WWE when his contract is up this summer. And now there are concerns that Samantha might be leaving as well to follow her fiance in within WWE. So, guys, your thoughts on that kind of news?
Yeah.
Wait. You coach, you ain't mentioned anything about Samantha leaving. You said Ricochet was potentially leaving. Now you just gonna just throw it out there that Samantha might be leaving. Like, come on, man.
I read a source that said it was Wrestling Ops did that on X. They had said that there is now concern in WWE that Samantha Irving might be leaving with Ricochet.
Throw the bag.
Oh yeah,
throw the bag. Make the bag. Triple H, keep her on the roster because you ain't finding another greater ring announcer like her. Like, no, Triple H, throw her the bag, bro. Fuck Ricochet, he can go on somewhere. But look, like keep Samantha, That's all I gotta say.
Well, you just know we're gonna have a new Speed champion, though. See,
we do already have one.
Oh, we do. Oh, well, see, I haven't been paying attention.
Is it Bron?
No, it's Andrade. Speaking of which, I mean, we just got to talk about the beautiful title that he's holding currently. I mean, look at that thing. Look at that belt right there, man. That is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Power Rangers Operation Overdrive belt. Power Rangers Operation Overdrive ass belt, man.
Oh gosh.
Put that belt on the Power Rangers, boy. That's a power up.
So,
oh gosh.
So Mike Rome got moved back to NXT, and I'm looking currently. I think Alicia Taylor is the SmackDown ring announcer, and they're, like I said, I know WWE is never without a plan. They just moved Mike Rome back to either SmackDown or Raw, and they will put Alicia Taylor on the other brand, and they'd hire somebody else up to be another ring announcer. I think those fall.
Bring JoJo back.
I think those fall under the division that Michael Cole is in charge of. So, like I said, it's. I mean, yes, it would suck to lose Samantha. She has provided so many great memories already in the past 2.5 years, and WWE is what made her. But we also don't know if she would leave just because Ricochet is leaving. I mean, like I said, WWE could throw that bag at her and have, like I said, make it almost impossible for her to turn it down. You know, and I mean, I'm sorry, King Ricochet is gonna have to go do his flips either in TNA or in AEW. It is what it is, but definitely try to keep Samantha Irvine. I said Irvine. Sorry, that's Chris Jericho's way of saying his name, not her.
Yeah,
I apologize, Samantha. You are amazing at what you do. Go ahead, Coachman.
All right, then moving on, we have comes out with Jade and Bianca, who were a surprise guest for Raw, and just talking about how they're ready to defend their tag team titles against Shayna and Zoe, who are the number one contenders. They come out, Shayna and Zoe do, and say, well, let's just have the match right now. Of course, Adam Pearce approves it. They have a pretty solid match going, and then all of a sudden, it is interrupted by Isla and forgive me I can't read my own writing. What's her tag partner's name? Faye? Is that something, Faye?
Yeah, we got you. We know what you're talking about, Coach.
Okay. Well, anyways, they're two Scottish women that broke it up, and that sets up a possible triple threat tag team match at Clash of the Castle for the women's tag team championship. I just thought it was, and another thing, it was, for me at least they had a reason for doing it, because they said, why can't we defend the titles at or have a chance for the titles at Clash of the Castle? Why does it have to be Shayna and Zoe and everything when they haven't beaten us yet? Which is very true. Like, again, logical booking. I can get behind that. Guys, I wanted to know your thoughts on that, though.
I think that it's a cheap way to get the belts off Bianca and Jade, because you got to start getting to a point where those two are going to have to fight each other. They talked about, they teased it at with the Queen of the Ring tournament, and like I said, if you're looking to start booking something for SummerSlam, I mean, I guess that's what I appreciate about Triple H's style of booking and the way he's doing things. The way Vince used to do things, I feel like in the 90s, but just long-term booking, like thinking ahead and stuff like that. Like, hey, if you're going to have these two girls fighting at SummerSlam, it might be a good idea to give it a month or two to simmer and really get mad. So, like, have them lose the belt at Clash of the Castle. You put them on these women are Scottish, you said?
Yeah.
You put the belts on that tag team that's Scottish, whereby and have them beat Shayna and Zoe to do it, and then start that feud up, and then, like I said, have a reason why Jade and Bianca are just trying to get on the same page, and finally they can't get on the same page, so Bianca takes her head off with the clothesline, or something like that, and boom, there you go. Like I said, but you get the ball rolling with that feud, and then you have them two maybe have to fight each other to get inside Money in the Bank. Like I said, so for the women's briefcase, and it just, again, like you said, sensible, reasonable booking, something Tony Khan definitely lacks. But again, it just would all make sense, and then you build that up to SummerSlam where these two got to get it on. We got to fight, somebody's got to bleed, somebody's got to leave, it's just that type of deal.
Yeah, I think for the most part, obviously we were seeing the influx of like challengers, like from the UK, like get their shine as we get closer to Clash at the Castle. I just think that in terms of Bianca and Jade, yeah, like you said, Mike, you want to get this on this feud now, because obviously, yeah, they've been teasing at it since what was it, Mania? Well, no, Royal Rumble. They've been teasing it, and so I feel like y'all might as well get it rolling now. And so I think, yeah, this is the best way to get the titles off of them, as opposed to having any tag team knock them off. Because obviously you see how like dominant they've been against the other tag teams, and just like regular competition. And so I feel like with this one, definitely kind of with the titles, and give some of the other talent the opportunity to to have that shine with the gold. And so I'm anxious to see how it plays out. I don't know if it's LaDawn and Alba Fire. I think that's how you say their names. I don't know.
Alba, thank you.
Beat Alba,
See,
yeah. Okay, I'm looking at SmackDown recap, so that's why I was looking at their names. But yeah, I don't know if they'll win it per se. I think at this point they're probably gonna have Stark and Baszler win it. If it isn't, end up being a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match. I think, I think Baszler and Stark will win it. I think it's time for them to finally get something going, with some tag team championship. I know Baszler has won it several times, but with Zoe Stark, I think it's time for her to like finally get her shine as well. So I think they'll win the titles at some point. If it is at Clash of the Castle or in the future, I think they'll be the next ones up. So I'm cool with it. Definitely, I'm in favor of Bianca and Jade dropping the belts. So we'll see what happens at Clash.
All right, moving on. We have a backstage segment with the New Day giving an interview before their match against AOP. And as it is finishing up, Karrion Kross comes in, says that New Day, they're getting stale. Their chants don't hit the same as they used to. And Kofi brushes it off, and so does Xavier Woods, but Kross stops Woods and says, hey, remember what I said? He's not always there for you like we will be. And so kind of planting that seed, and it was just kind of it was eerie but good at the same time. So into the match, Woods starts out and he is getting absolutely pummeled by AOP. Cross eventually distracts Kingston, and when Woods goes for the tag, Kingston's no longer there, and then Woods just gets manhandled some more. 1, 2, 3, AOP wins, and Woods is asking Kofi, "Where were you?" at the end of the match, and planting the seeds for that heel turn / breakup. Guys, what were your thoughts?
It's about damn time. Man, it's been long overdue. I was ready for Xavier Woods to break up from the New Day back when Bray, and then remember when Bray had him like mesmerized or whatnot, and like he would just stop and he'd be like in this trance thing. I'm like, yes. Listen, like I said, Xavier Woods is a great wrestler all on his own. I would love to see him go back to NXT, climb the ranks. It's a couple of guys, him, Otis, guys like that. Just go back to NXT, climb the ranks there, and see if you can be the face of a brand, and then see what it looks like with you coming back to the main roster. I admire what
Baron Corbin.
What Corbin has done with rebranding himself, with going back to NXT, finding himself and not being ashamed about it, but like literally owning it and showing it, you know. So I mean, like I said, this New Day stuff is stale and old. And as far as I'm concerned, Kofi Kingston has done everything in his business that there is to do. Unless he's gonna start managing, it's about that time to retire and work backstage, bro. Take the Bobby Roode route.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Mike. Obviously, we talked about it before. With like, it's just New Day doesn't hit the same. Like, you know, and for them to actually mention it on TV, seems like they've been listening to the wrestling fans in that regard.
Yep.
Yeah, I think with Big E being gone, the whole dynamic of the group drastically changes because he is the heart and soul of that group. He brings all the comedy, everything. Like
I didn't realize that. I didn't think about that. That's good though, Claude. That's good. That
starts really good. With him saying, "Oh, it's a new day." Yes, it is. I'm like, and Big E's no longer in the group, so it's just like it's weird. And then the whole new day rocks, all that, like because and like all of that. It is just they don't even do all that stuff anymore because Big E's no longer there. So it's just like it takes away from what they really were, you know, like during their historic run, you know, winning all the tag team championships and stuff. I just feel like, you know, I think it's just time to move on and start fresh. I think both of them need a fresh start with something, you know.
Retirement for
both
Kofi
of them,
Kingston.
whether both of them, or, I won't say retirement, but hell, I mean, I say go somewhere else, man. Like, go jump ship, go somewhere else and see if you can do something that I'm like, Kofi he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I'm like, if he goes to another wrestling promotion, I'm sure he'll be over like crazy there. Like if he went to AEW or TNA, he'll do well. Like,
for sure. He'll be treated as a main event talent in AEW and in TNA, whereas in WWE he's an enhancement talent now. He's almost getting to that edge point where it's like there's nothing here for you to do. You know, you're gonna end up being a part-timer. So I mean, like I said, you might as well go be a part-timer because like literally WWE's part-time schedule is a regular schedule for AEW and for TNA. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, he's in that same class of Dolph Ziggler. And really, if you really think about it, once they take these tag titles off Miz and R-Truth, I mean, kind of same thing with the Miz. That whole class that really evolved in 2010, Kofi, Miz, guys like that, Morrison, guys like that whole class of like 2010 is in my mind when they WWE really was like, okay, we got to start focusing on these guys. We got to start giving these guys storylines. We got to move them off ECW, put them on SmackDown, put them on Raw, make it like almost like a new superstar initiative or whatnot, and building those future stars. And those guys are all in that class to me of Miz is probably a lifer with WWE, and he'll gladly just take the I get to wrestle whenever I can wrestle or whenever you have something for me.
Miz is different because you can plug Miz into just about anything and he'll make it work. Like promos, like he's good in the ring. He's still good in the ring. Like people don't mention much about that. I'm like he could do like just about it. Like he's on that Orton path in terms of like give me whatever you need to and I'll make it work. Like that's what Miz is right now. And then R-Truth is gonna be R-Truth. So like they gonna keep him. He's a lifer too. So they gonna take the tag team titles off of him. They'll be just fine. I think they'll figure whatever else they need to with them. But with Kofi, I don't know if you can do the same thing with Kofi because for one, I don't think Cody has ever had it's just me. I don't think he's ever had the mic skills to really like, you know, like on the level of Miz, like being able to talk on the mic, you know, to like really be convincing. Like in ring work, yeah, it's nice, but like I feel like that the mic skills definitely play a major part into how long you can last, you know, in wrestling. I honestly feel that.
For sure.
And so I feel like with Kofi, like if you take him away from New Day, like I don't know what to do as a singles competitor because you killed him. You killed him as a singles competitor with Brock Lesnar. Ain't no coming back from that. It's over.
However,
like, he was world champion for about 2 months, for about a month, and then it was about a month or two, and it was over. They killed it, and he never got his rematch.
I hate it. I hate it that Kofi's going to end like this, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to hear SOS one more time. Like I just need that. I was really hoping that he would do some type of variation of it at his WrestleMania moment when it was Kofi Mania, but instead he decided to stay with the New Day stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of it. But moving on, Coachman, what else you got for us?
All right, well then we have our main event between Damian Priest and Rey Mysterio, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I found that match very boring, and we don't have to go over it if you don't want to, but I just wanted to say that was our main event.
The champ won like he was supposed to. Simple as that, point blank. They have to figure out. We have to figure out what they're doing with Damian Priest. Is he a heel or is he a face? The point blank. That's what kind of where we're at with him. Is he a heel or is he a face? Is he a tweener? And make us care about him. The fact that they aren't trying harder to make us care about Damian Priest lets me know he's losing that Clash of the Castle, bro. Like it's happening, like quickly. Like you were a transition champion. We had to get you the briefcase. Drew's taking that title back at Clash at the Castle. And that may set us up for maybe a rematch at Money in the Bank between them two. And then maybe, I don't know, if Punk is ready, maybe you give him the men's Money in the Bank nod, you know, but you're also hyping up Jey Uso, who came out on the show and said that it's time for him to reward the fans with something. Since y'all been rocking with me, I think I want to become Mr. Money in the Bank. So, I mean, I don't know. Could go either way.
That shit ain't happening.
hey man, quit hating on my man main event, bro. Hey, you a hater. No, Claude. I can't even with you.
I'm just saying that shit ain't. Hey, I'm good. Hey, put the Money in the Bank on CM Punk. Have him he'll be what, the first 3-time winner, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, like, I can see him winning it, and then cashing in on Drew just to piss Drew off even more. And so, yeah, I think that'd be a good option, or Drew win it, and then obviously, like you said, Priest gets his rematch, and then maybe we'll have a triple threat match at SummerSlam, which I think that's more of the possibility than just being a one-on-one match, because if you have Priest lose back-to-back matches, then what's next? You know, so like I know we still got the Judgment Day factor, And so I don't know. I think I don't know. It's time I think about Rey Mysterio, man. Like he's just there at this point, man. Like main events, I'm like they don't hit the same like they used to. I'm like this ain't 2007 2006 when they was giving him the what's known as Eddie Guerrero push. You know, it's not like
Man,
that
nobody,
anymore.
no,
Um,
as in the most respectful way possible.
yeah,
Nobody benefited more from Eddie dying than Ray.
yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. The run itself was crazy. Like it was awesome. Like in Chicago when he won the triple threat match, man, it was Chicago was rocking. So, but it's been so many years since that point. You know, I think just Ray. I think he still has his fans. Obviously, you got the Hispanic fan base. That still love him. And so, but outside of that, I think it's one of those situations where he just going. He need to be back in his managerial role at this point, and
Yeah.
stay there. Yeah. So
Yep. Yep. It's time for some of those guys to fade off into the sunset, and that's
yeah,
okay. I mean, or just wrestle, be featured every now and then. But you're bringing up all this talent from NXT, like I said, and you got to find a place for them, and you got to make room for these guys you're signing and bringing over too. So I mean, everybody ain't gonna get TV time unless they, God forbid, they make Raw and SmackDown 3 hours. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'll do. But yeah, moving right along, we got to get to AEW. Take us through AEW Dynamite this week.
all right. So this week, well, last week on AEW, basically we had the return of MJF to Dynamite. And so basically he makes his return. So he's out there cutting promo. Basically, the usual. I'm here to put the locker room on notice. Basically, he trying to go back after the gold at some point, and then he's interrupted by a brother named of Rush, and so basically he took exception to MJF against returning back to the company, thinking that he was owed something, and so um, basically MJF responded by insulting him in Spanish, and Mr. Rush didn't take that too kindly, and they end up having a little brawl, uh, and that was pretty much it for that. But I think that'll be a match that'll happen at Forbidden Door, I'm sure.
Sure, you got to
And
get him
so
on the
we'll see
card,
what happens with
and
that. Oh
yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, and so we'll see what happens with that. What did you think of that moment, fellas?
I like I said, you got to get Adam Cole. I'm sorry, Adam Cole. Adam Cole isn't healthy. You got to get MJF on the card, obviously. So I mean, it's simple booking. You got somebody to come out and take exception and say, hey, I have a problem with you. Just thinking you can come back and just get whatever you want. Obviously, MJF is going to crush this dude in his match. And he'll be back fighting for the title here very shortly. Him versus Ospreay is going to hit too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a typical MJF promo, which is not a bad thing. It's a great thing because I think his promos are always good. And one thing that I was kind of shocked about was that I mean, and this is just because of Tony Khan's historical booking, MJF didn't get an immediate title match against Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very pleased with that if we're actually using logical booking there to say, like, hey, somebody stepping up. Now he's gonna, like you said, Virgil, he's gonna get kicked around a lot at Forbidden
Mm-hmm.
Door, but at least it's a build up and it's not just, oh, I'm back. There's my title shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I can respect that.
Okay. Moving on, we got next up we got the first match of the night. We have Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Phoenix versus um And so basically, this match was for the right to face Will Ospreay for the AEW Intercontinental Championship. And so, obviously, these four men in the ring, high-paced match, a lot of back and forth, great moments throughout the match. Ray Phoenix, he gonna do what he do in that ring, man. That guy is amazing. And so, basically, he had like Phoenix had like a knee injury throughout the match, which he eventually overcame. Called lethal with an inside cradle to score the and he earned the right to face Ospreay for the championship. That match is gonna be nice. Ray Phoenix and Ospreay is gonna be nice.
Is it a TV match or is it
And
at
so
Forbidden Door as well?
it will be. Let me see here.
I'm just asking you. I'm pretty sure they haven't announced it yet. What I'm asking you, what do you think? It will be next Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuning in for that one. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah. And so after the match, Don Callis marched Trent only for Orange Cassidy to grab a chair and fend him off. We had Chris Statlander. We had Chris Statlander in the ring, coming face to face with her former friend before slapping him. So what did you think of the match, fellas, and the aftermath of the match?
I thought the match itself was really good. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either three of those winning. So I think and each one of them has a loss like that wasn't going to hurt either of them. So I thought it was just a very entertaining match. Just interesting which way you want to go with it. They went with Ray Phoenix, and afterwards, just building that Don Callis and Orange Cassidy feud and Statlander. I'm glad that she kind of has somewhere to go now, even if it is as a heel.
Mm.
Yeah, same here. I mean, like I said, it was a good match, a lot of action. And I think that they backed right horse because you're going to get a potential 5-star match out of Ospreay and Phoenix coming out of this. So, like I said, it'll be good.
All right, and so let's see. Next up, we have the we got a TNT Championship ladder match qualifier. Mark Briscoe versus Brian Cage. Is this one of those you want me to skip, fellas?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Hit the highlights.
It's like, well, Jack Perry, he's thrown his name into the mix, so it looks like he wants to get a shot at the goal. So I'll just throw that out there. But Briscoe did defeat Cage. And so next up we had Hook versus Samoa Joe. Well, not Hook versus Samoa Joe, but Hook and Samoa Joe pretty much. We see that they've aligned themselves against Chris Jericho. And they pretty much had like a backstage promo. They're basically planning to handle business on their own terms, not dictate, how they run things. And so that was pretty much what's happening with that rivalry. The Acclaimed popped up on the scene to Max Caster pretty much targeted the Elite, and they pretty much had their mics segment cut. So it looks like we might have a tag team match coming between the Acclaimed and the Elite. So that'll be pretty legit. And I believe, let's see here, we had the Blackpool Combat Club versus Team CMLL. I don't know full name of that is, but yes, Magnus, Valador Jr., Rugido, and Estefan. So that was pretty much high stakes match. We know what the Blackpool Combat Club brings, and so pretty much a lot of hard-hitting spots throughout the match, and eventually led to the Blackpool Combat Club winning. So, fellas, what are your thoughts of this match? If you tuned into it,
Don't care.
Yeah, it is
okay.
what it was. It was about how we expected it to go. That was my opinion, at least.
Yeah. And then it looks like there was a video segment with in regards to Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Vakir, however you say her last name. Looks like they'll be fighting for the TBS Championship at Forbidden Door. Stephanie Vakir she's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. So yeah, they'll be battling Door. So that pretty much be a decent match going on with that.
Is it double title?
No, it'll be. Let me see. I think it'll just be for the CBS Championship. Yeah.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing here
Does
on
it
the All
does
Elite
it
page.
does it hurt the credibility of the World Championship if the title holder of the TBS Championship is a bigger star than the World Championship title holder?
It doesn't help.
Wait, so is that's their his main women's championship, strong
Which
women's
one?
championship? Like
I think
the
New
strong women's
Japan's.
championship, is it their main? Is it their
No.
top women's championship?
No. So the strong championship is a secondary title for them. Like I
So
said, but
it's basically like the Intercontinental United States title, kind of. It's in that realm, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but no, what I'm meaning by that is Mercedes Moné is your TBS champion, and you put her
Right.
as your secondary champion or
Mhm.
whatnot, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if she's making that title more relevant and mean more than the world championship and the women's world championship, then that's an issue. You know,
that is an issue.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
right?
because who's champion right now? Is it who's the women's champion right now? Is it forgot who's champion. You guys know? The AEW women's champion?
Hold on, looking it up because I don't think it's Tony Storm anymore.
No, I thought Tony Storm was still champion.
It is Tony Storm.
Oh,
Yep, it is still Tony Storm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then Sasha
yeah.
has which honestly, Tony Storm is not a bad AEW Women's World Champion at all. I honestly think that she has put a lot into her craft to make people care about her character, doing a total 180 from their time that she was in WWE, where she really didn't have any direction. She was just a really great wrestler. Like, I feel like now she has character and substance. The problem is Mercedes Moné is just a bigger name. I mean, that's just point blank what it is. And you know, sooner or later, she's going to come for that belt. So it's like almost like, does the TBS title mean more? Do the matches mean more just because of who's holding that belt versus who's holding the AEW Women's Championship? So that was just my thought on that. I didn't. We don't have to go into a deep dive over it. For me, I'm just like, gosh, that's got to suck. You know, being a world champion and people caring more about the TBS title just because the person that's holding it.
Yeah. And so let's see what we got next. Mariah May versus Saraya. Saraya beat May by submission. Just assume that you guys don't care about that match.
Kudos to her for keeping her career going.
Yeah, it was just nice to know she's putting over young talent.
Dig.
So next up, I believe our main event. We got AEW World Champion Swerve versus Roderick Strong, and it was for the AEW World Championship. And so it's nice to see, you know, Swerve defending his belt on the main show, having some good matches, and you know, Roderick Strong, I always thought he was pretty good in the ring, so it was nice to see him finally, you know, having good quality wrestling matches and not being a damn neck brace all the damn time. And so yeah, they had a nice. It was a nice back and forth match between the two. Quality main event. Um, you know, nice. Fast paced, hard hitting moments of the match. Um, and so and so basically, Strong was kind of like selling an injured knee during the match, and and eventually, Strickland reigned supreme and ends up winning and retaining the title. And so, what did you fellas think of this of the match?
Go ahead, Coach Man.
I thought very solid. It was a good main. It was definitely a main event that kept me more intrigued than the one that happened on Monday Night Raw. I'll be honest there.
Right.
Not only because of the stakes, but because of, I mean, this is kind of a fresh matchup, something that we hadn't seen before. So I was invested in that, and again, with Strong kind of selling that knee injury, you don't hurt him with the loss. It's like, oh, well, he wasn't 100% that he lost to Swerve, but at the same time, you're saying, oh, Swerve's a fighting champion, and he's a smart champion. He knows how to exploit the weaknesses of his competitors. So, like, I just thought, all in all, very, very good. And, of course, I love Swerve Strickland to begin with, so anything with him, I'm always going to be locked in.
Yeah, I think it's really a good showing for Swerve. I have had arguments with my best friend for months about the booking of Swerve Strickland since they've given him the AEW World Championship, and I just wanted him to look strong. I feel like they made him look really stupid with the whole Christian Cage stuff and how he was going against the family and everything like that, and they were constantly jumping them and everybody's turning on them, and it's like, dude, you can't start off a title run like that. Like, you have to book him strong and start him off
Right.
like strong, like, I mean, like, it just looks like that. Even if it's going against competitors, like Christian's already a name and already somebody that could be considered a world title contender in any company because he's been a world heavyweight champion in every company he's been in. So it's believable that he's championship material and he could beat him. You don't have to sell us on the fact that Christian is a champion and can work his way around Swerve. So I thought that they needed to have Swerve look strong in his first couple of months of the title run. This was the first match and first night that I really felt like Swerve looked strong as a champion. Like, you went out there, you put on a good match. It was for a world title, so you made it mean something. And like I said, you just bring more equity to the belt, man. The more good matches that title has underneath it, the better it's going to be. Right now, I still rank it in importance above the World Heavyweight Championship, mainly because of who's holding the belt, which Swerve is better than Damian Priest. Sorry. Not sorry.
No
But he's
apologies
better.
needed. He is better.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me.
I'm sure the majority of the wrestling world believes that they agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But like I said, and WWE's lack of making you defend the championship, I mean, so here's where I differ, and I have issues with this, is a lot of people will crap on WWE for not defending the title on television more. You got to wait till the PLE to get a title shot. But WWE does live house shows every week where they're running towns 4 times a week where that title is defended. Whereas, like I said, for AEW, they don't really do house shows like that. So the title is more, and the pay-per-views are more spread out. So you have more of an opportunity to book television championship matches. But I do always think it's a good idea sometime to sprinkle in a WWE or a World Heavyweight Championship title match on or just regular television for your fan base. I mean, like I said, even if they know the person isn't going to lose the championship, it just adds more credence and lets people see, like, hey, he is actually out there wrestling, defending the championship. But as far as this match goes, strongest Swerve has looked. And Roger Strong was a good opponent to choose him to do that with, because Roger Strong is a wizard in the ring. He can do just about anything and make it believable, and he's good at selling. So good match. Swerve finally looks strong. But I still think he's coughing up that title to Ospreay. I do not think he's going to keep it. I think Tony Khan loves Will Ospreay a little bit too much to have him get beat by Swerve.
Yeah, I think so too. And the one thing I'm about to mention too is probably the reason why I think Ospreay is about to win this title. So before the main event, Bryan Danielson, he basically reiterated the fact that this is his final year as a full-time pro wrestler. So he had a few disappointing few months over the last few months of this year. And so his last chance to fight for the AEW title will be by entering the Hart Memorial Men's Tournament. And so basically, outside of winning the competition itself, and having like that title of the winner, you actually get opportunity at the AEW world title. And so Daniel Bryan, he basically feels that this may be his last shot, but it'll be his best shot that he's had in his entire career. So I'm all for it. I say let him win the whole damn thing, and we get Bryan Danielson versus Ospreay 2. It'll be 2, right? The second match, right?
Yes, it would.
Between these two. Yeah. So yeah. Get that rematch going between these two, and let's get it rolling. What are your thoughts, Coach, while we wait for Mike to return?
Yeah, I think
Virgil.
it's the best way to let him go out on top. I think he is given all that he could for his entire wrestling career. And the one thing I will appreciate about a Tony Khan booking is that he gives people their flowers. Like with Sting, as an example. I think he is going to let Danielson get his flowers with this tournament, possibly winning against Ospreay for the title in their rematch. I just think it's a great way for him to go out on top. Danielson, that is.
Kudos to Bryan Danielson to realizing that it's probably about that time to start scaling back. Obviously his body has been through tremendous warfare and turmoil. He's put his body through hell being a wrestler. And I mean, like I said, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, like I said, he is a bona fide, surefire Hall of Famer. I mean, he just is. So, I mean, like I said, I like this build to go out on his own terms. I don't think Edge is too far behind him.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Edge be done before him, honestly.
Should be, but probably won't be, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, he's not done. No.
You think he'll make a run at the world before he officially calls it quits?
That's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He may refuse to win the title. He may pull a Shawn Michaels and refuse to win the title unless the company like absolutely needs him. Like Tony comes to him and is like, "Hey, like we need you to win this belt."
Shawn refused to win the title all those times?
Yes.
So he said he didn't want to go over on Cena for the world championship, not Triple H.
Correct.
Not Orton, anybody.
So when facing Randy Orton, he was supposed to win the WWE championship, didn't want it. Was supposed to beat Triple H multiple times, didn't want it. Was supposed to go over for the WWE championship at WrestleMania, didn't want it. And then I'm not sure if he's supposed to beat Jericho for the world title in that ladder match, but I just know like Sean said, I believe in a documentary, like there's when you're the champ, when you're the lead champ, there's a certain responsibility that comes with there. You're the first one in the door, last one to leave. You know, you have to be at every meeting. You have to go do all this different media stuff, all of these different things. And he's just, I mean, he was in the phase of his career where he just wanted to have fun. Like he wanted to help people backstage, do everything like that. But he didn't want to be the face of the company anymore. So he didn't have that desire to do those things. So, yeah.
Oh, no, he's running NXT, so it all worked out for the best.
Big facts. Big facts.
Right.
All right. So we are going to move along to SmackDown. This is your SmackDown review, and it's on June 7th. It starts with Cody Rhodes angrily pacing back and forth in the parking lot. Rhodes is waiting for Styles to enter the arena. Obviously, Styles beat up Cody last week, gave him the heist of the century. Well, not the heist of the century, but basically pretended like he was getting ready to retire, wore the suit out there, and then clobbered Cody. And obviously, this was all in the efforts to get another shot at the WWE Championship. So that's going to be the congruent story, their line that goes all throughout SmackDown. As Cody's waiting, looking for AJ. You won't see them until the end, but we'll come back to that. We go to inside the ring. Inside the ring, we have the Paul Heyman and the new Bloodline, and it's the ceremony where Solo Sikoa is now anointed the head of the table, not tribal chief, head of the table. So, he's now sitting at the head of the table. Crowd's going nuts, screaming, shouting, "They want Heyman! They want Heyman!" Tama Tonga has now been deemed the right hand man. And like I said, it sounded so weird not having Jay be the right hand man, just because that was always the deal. And then obviously Tonga Loa is now considered a full member of the Bloodline. Heyman thanks the crowd, says goodnight, thinks things are over with. And then obviously Solo is bullying him and is like, wait a minute, shouldn't you be thanking these two for saving you last week from Kevin Owens? And then Heyman's like, I guess, yeah, I should, you know. And then obviously as he's getting ready to thank them, Kevin Owens' music hits. He comes out. They think he's by himself. Obviously, he comes out with the Street Profits. They make the save as Kevin Owens is getting beat up. And like I said, it's just one thing after another for them in this segment. The segment ends with Profits making the save on Owens. What did you guys think about this segment?
Go first.
Go ahead. See, you start off.
Okay. So I think with this one is very interesting because I don't know why when I first saw it, I don't know why I thought he was like making him the new tribal chief, and I was like, nah, it can't be that easy. And I was like, nah, it's just the head of the table. So I was like, all right, that's cool. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, is this as it currently stands, is this just going to be the current version of like the new Bloodline? And then like, is Jimmy going to come back, you know, and who's going to join Jimmy to help fight? Or is he just going to fight the fight with KO or Orton and Street Profits or whoever else? Like, you know, I'm wondering what's going to happen at this point in time. Like, who's going to join? Like I know technically from a number standpoint it's 3-on-3, but this is one more that can get added to the mix for the Bloodline. That's the other Fatu brother, and so Jacob, and so I think that might be like the next man up, you know, in terms of joining the fray, and then that'll prompt Jimmy to come back. And so just a lot of thoughts, you know, with that whole storyline. But for right now, in terms of what it is looking like, I just want to know what's the like where are we leading up to? Like, you know, is Castle or like how are we getting to SummerSlam? What is the end goal for SummerSlam at this point in time? Because obviously something big is going to happen. We're expecting Roman to be back, you know, around SummerSlam time. So I'm like, what is the end goal? Like, where are we leading to? So I'm just, those are thoughts that come across in my mind in regards to the storyline. So
Money in the Bank.
That's what I'm thinking
Money
too.
in the Bank. That's I keep
Money in the Bank. Somebody in the Bloodline is going to cost Jay the match. And that's what's going to prompt Jay to get upset with the Bloodline family or whatnot. I mean, we've already seen like like I said, like when they showed up, I think it was King and Queen of the Ring. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, when he was getting ready for his match, they kind of walked by him or whatnot. So, like I said, I mean, they're foreshadowing what's going to happen. He's going to have to run into them again. So it's just a matter of time. Go ahead, Coachman.
I just think it's just that slow build that we're used to with Triple H booking, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, you see, where are we going to come to a head with this? And I think it will be a Money in the Bank. But what I like about this is the slow face turn for Paul Heyman I mean, I guess you could almost say he already is a face now, but when was the last time, if ever, in his career, Paul Heyman has been a face?
Oh man, it's been a while. I mean, whenever Brock was no, because every time Brock was a heel, he was a heel, and every time and we was a CM Punk, he was a heel. Man, it's been years since ECW. Since ECW came back was the last time people actually cheered Paul Heyman.
Exactly.
Wow,
and he
that's
is
a long time.
the character the character work that he's doing with this and his facial expressions throughout the entire. I mean, his facial expressions are dynamite to begin with, no matter what he does. But it's just relaying that empathy to other people of like, man, I feel so sorry for him. Like, I want him to get out of there. We want Roman back, which everyone does. They want them to be reunited so that they could save Heyman. So that's what I've found very interesting about this whole thing is just the slow turn for Heyman, something that we haven't seen out of him in decades, pretty much.
I think the closest we've had to to face Paul Heyman, would say probably when CM Punk came back to face Jericho in Chicago at I think it was Payback. CM Punk had the bald head, was somewhat bald head, but yeah, he came back in Chicago and Payback to go against Jericho, and I think that was probably closest to Heyman, face Heyman that we had. But I think with Heyman, it's like I don't really look at him as like he's either a heel or he's a tweener because he gonna tell it like it is regardless. Like he's one of those managers where like a face just doesn't like baby face as a manager just doesn't really work for him. Like because that requires him to be like to do baby face things like always play the good role and all that other stuff like
one thing
that's not him. It's not
one
him.
thing
It never has been him.
one thing Jim Cornette and I think Bobby the Brain Heenan said that makes sense. It's so much easier to be a heel manager than it is to be a face manager, especially if you're a guy. Because for guys, like I said, you could take bumps occasionally. You can get some heat off of the baby faces. You can get on the mic and tear up the crowd and stuff like that. Like I think women managers do a lot better job at being face managers, and guy managers do a lot better job at being heel managers historically, I would say. But moving right along, we're talking Bianca and Jade Cargill versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Like I said, they after a cheap shot, Hartwell dives Belair into the corner, or drives her into the corner, and then, like I said, from there the match takes off. Obviously, they kind of worked them over for a little bit. Then Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler walk down the ramp to watch the match. Then they go to commercial break. After commercial break, Belair tags in Cargill. She clears the ring. Cargill hits, and Belair hit their finisher on Hartwell for the win. After the match, Fry, Dawn, Baszler, and Stark attack Belair and Cargill. And then after the champions are laid out, everybody else starts brawling with each other. And then Cargill rolls into the ring with Belair, and they lay everybody out. End segment. And then from that, Cody Rhodes is still in the parking lot pacing, and then the SmackDown GM Nick Aldis walks up and tells Rhodes he can't fight in the parking lot because someone could get hurt. Rhodes says Aldis is right, someone will, but it won't be Rhodes. What did you guys think of the tag match? If you have any thoughts at all, obviously we know they're going to keep making Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill look strong, as we talked about in the Raw part of the update. We're looking at probably a triple threat or maybe even more than that getting involved, just because of all the women that are vying for this once dead championship that now looks like it actually means something.
Yeah, I think this is just going to set us up for a fatal four-way tag match at Clash of the Castle, which you don't see many of that. You don't see that very much anymore. So I'm all for that kind of stipulation, and we'll talk about it later. Another stipulation that is coming back that we haven't seen in a long time. So I like it. I like these kinds of stipulations and matches. I have always been a fan. That was one of my when we first started this podcast, I think you guys asked me what would be the one thing you would change about current WWE, and I said more stipulations. Make it fun. Make it yes, you'll have your standard wrestling matches and everything, because those are great too, but stipulations add more drama to it. And I think that's what we're starting to get more of, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got much to add to it. Like we already talked about earlier. Just the excitement of, several tag teams getting their opportunity at the goal. Excited to see what happens at Clash if they do end up having a fatal four-way tag team match for the championship, tag team championship. So, yeah, I'm all for it. No. Not opposed to everything that's been happening in regards to this storyline. So
after that, Legado del Fantasma attacks Apollo Crews as he is being interviewed for his match coming up. And then after that, we have Real LA Knight show up and he's talking to Nick Aldis, and he's looking for Logan Paul, and Nick Aldis tells him Logan Paul isn't here. Well, what's he doing? He has something better to do than be here. He's at home playing Tetris. And then Carmelo Hayes walks up, starts talking that smack again, and obviously then LA Knight asks Nick Aldis to make a match for Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight for that. And I think that's perfect setup, good match. We'll talk more about that in a second. But then Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Grayson Waller. I'm sorry, Johnny Gargano with Tommaso Ciampa versus Grayson Waller and with Austin Theory. The match goes back and forth for a little bit. Theory hits an unprettier, hits a front flip unprettier for the win. And Grayson Waller wins the match. Waller celebrates in the ring while Theory looks on, licking his wounds. Obviously, Theory, they're trying to set them up for some type of. It's going to be some type of division between them. Obviously, it's going to happen. Waller actually used Theory and pulled him in the way to avoid the hit from Gargano. So, like I said, it looks bleak between these two. Here in the coming future, like the tag team champion, WWE tag team champions are going to be splitting up. I think both sets of champions have had their titles long enough since WrestleMania. So about that time, go ahead and put those titles on real contenders, real tag teams, both of them, both sets.
Yeah,
Did you guys
I think
have anything to add about those? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just again, that slow build, something we've been anticipating with Theory and Waller, that breakup, and got to give Theory credit with his character that he is really selling that he is feeling betrayed and letting the audience kind of buy into again that empathy that I was talking about. That's huge in wrestling, especially when you're a heel turning into a face. Like, you got to want people to care about what you're doing, and I think he's doing a tremendous job with that, not only with his in-ring work, but again, just body language, facial expressions, stuff like that. It's people are going to start buying into him more as a face, and something that he kind of failed with in his original United States Championship run is that he didn't really have a character. He was just standard guy.
Champion.
Now he has motivation, or he's going to have motivation. He's got a character development there. So that is something that people can actually buy into. So it's very, very good.
Anything for you to add? See?
Well, y'all know me from the start. I didn't want them having the tag team championships to begin with. So I think let's go ahead and get this thing escalated, get these titles up off these, have them feud with each other, and move on. Let DIY finally get their moment in the sun. Have some tag team gold, and let's kick it off. Yeah, so that's my only thoughts in regards to this storyline. As long as it results in them losing the tag team championships. So
agreed. And you could tell that it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. But don't count out the Street Profits for those WWE Tag Team Championships too, because they're gonna be coming for them soon.
yeah,
So we go.
I'm like if Triple H really wanted them to have the championships, they would have had it already, man. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm like they had their opportunities when they had the SmackDown championships, tag team championships. But yeah, Triple H really wanted them to win it. They would have won it already. So I don't know. I think let's go ahead and split them boys up, man. Just stop delaying the inevitable. and yeah, I don't see the Street Profits winning anytime soon in regards to the championships. But yeah, go ahead.
See. So AJ Styles finally arrives to the backstage area. He's taunting Rhodes from behind security. Rhodes gets frustrated and stomps out to the ring, which is the oddest. Like, the way he did it, like, looked crazy. I'm like, this don't make sense. Like, I mean, I guess he just figured he could never go up against all that security. So he's like, well, skip it. I'm going to the ring. So he goes to the ring, tells Styles to bring his ass out there to the ring, demands it. He begs. Styles eventually appears on the stage, flanked by Gallows and Anderson. And then security runs out behind them and stands in between them. Styles says he doesn't care what Rhodes runs. Rhodes tells him, give him what he wants, almost Batista-esque. And then the crowd boos. Styles yells he wants a title shot at Clash at the Castle. Rhodes quickly agrees. And then he says, but I want it to be an I Quit match. And then Nick Aldis runs down to the ring and gives the thumbs up to the match. Rhodes rolls out of the ring and attacks security guards, try to get his hands on Styles. Once Rhodes is being held back, security, Styles cheap shots Rhodes. So trying to make you care about this feud. I had a conversation with somebody, an interesting conversation with somebody a couple days ago, and the word on the street, I think that the world is feeling is just that Cody Rhodes, since winning the title, his title run has been boring. And that they picked AJ because him and AJ can produce great matches. Their match in Paris was amazing, but getting to these matches week to week is pretty boring, has been pretty boring, and they haven't spiced it up really. I know that, like I said, but the obviously, have they pulled you guys back in, I guess, is my question, with making it an I Quit match. Do you care a little bit more? Do you think this may make Rhodes title run here mean a little something more? I mean, the payoff is this is the summer of Rhodes. He will have the championship all summer, probably into the fall. But do you care still? Are you still as up on everything and excited about Rhodes being champion right now? Or is it kind of just like, I'm waiting on a better competitor like a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns?
I mean, I've been enjoying his run, and you don't need me to buy in to a AJ Styles Cody Rhodes match, but again, adding a stipulation and I quit match, that makes it even more exciting in my opinion. But I can also see where people think that it hasn't really been an ideal start for his title reign after defeating Roman, but you got to think of also how we got to that point when he defeated Roman. I mean, it's kind of that
years. It took years.
Yeah. So you can almost think of it kind of like a hangover. We're kind of in that hangover effect right now, and we're starting to get our way out of it. You look at any sports team after they win a championship, there's always that World Series hangover, Super Bowl hangover, Stanley Cup hangover for the first month or two. Well, we've kind of reached with that first month or two, we've officially gone past that. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more not only quality matches. I mean, I think we were already getting those to begin with, but just more compelling storylines to where we can buy in until we get to a Randy Orton or The Rock or Roman Reigns when we get to those big matches for Cody again.
Mm-hmm. That's facts, man.
Smiling in Stanley Cup, coach, and talk about a hangover. Thought about your Blues and their hangover after winning their one Stanley Cup.
Play Gloria.
But it was a glorious
have about
hangover.
6 of them. We didn't get a chance to have hangovers really because we won 3 in 5 or 6 years. So it's we dynasty out here.
Hey,
good old days.
I truly believe they could have won back-to-back if COVID did not happen. Because they were number one in the standings.
We're blaming.
No. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I am not. I am just saying that they probably would have won, and then we probably would be where we're at right now. So we would have probably had 2, but it was a glorious first run. You always remember your first, though, Claude. Don't forget that.
I despise that song, man. Oh, every time I hear it, I'm just like, "Girl, turn it off."
I feel the same way about Chelsea Dagger, so we're even.
But no, but yeah, to add to the comments about the Cody Rhodes issue, it's one of those situations where when you invest so much into a build up to winning the championship, add to that hangover, I feel like it's almost like, all right, what's next? And so it's it's almost like you don't think about where to go from after they won it. You put so much thought and work into them winning it, and then all right, what is the aftermath? What happens? Who's the next man up? Where are we going from here? Remember back in the day, there's been such a build up. You had such an epic and Triple H. They built Batista up. That build was, that's in my top 3 of builds to a world championship win. And they had a plan afterwards. He faced Triple H 2 more times, and they were iconic matches. That was a trilogy, but they had a plan at the end of the day. With Cena, JBL, he had his rematch against JBL. Ironically enough, I quit match. And I quit match back then, it was a lot different. Other stuff, it was a lot going on. And but with Cody, it's different because I feel like they didn't. I don't know if they had a plan in terms of the aftermath. Maybe AJ Styles was all right. This is who you gonna face first, but in terms of the build up to those matches, I don't know if they had a legitimate plan on all right, how are we really going put this man over as a champion? How are we going to convince people that same energy that they had when he was chasing the world championship, as opposed to now that he has it. You know what they always say, it's one thing to win it, like, but keeping it is hell of a lot harder. And like, but in addition to that, in terms of being over with the crowd after you win a championship, I think that is a big factor as well. Like, all right, you won it. You got the fans behind you. We've been wanting you to win it. You know, part of that is because of what happened with The Rock inserting himself with the board and all that other stuff. But like, now that you've won it, like, how can you? All right, what are you going to do to keep us on board and convince us that, hey, like, to stick by you throughout this run? You know, and so we've seen in the past other champions have the fans on their side even after they win the championship, and it's not until like after they lose it, and then it's just like, all right, next man up. So I think with Cody, it's that issue. Like, that's where they're at right now, like trying to keep the fans on board with the same energy that they had when he was chasing over the last couple of years. So I definitely think that's the issue that they have right now. So I don't know. Like, I think once he moves past AJ and he goes against Orton, I think that's when we're really gonna start kicking it up a notch, because we know Orton,
Give me something to care
when
about.
he
Just
goes here,
just give me something to care
yeah.
about. Yeah.
And there's that relationship, there's that past, that legacy. You know, we got what, second, third generation superstars, you know, with Hall of Fame fathers, and they've been in a faction together, and like they go, and we know Orton has served as a mentor to Cody in the past. So it's like there's so much dynamics there with those two. I think that's when things are starting to pick up, because now it gets a lot more personal between those two, because there's so much history there. So I think once Cody gets past AJ, and he probably won't see Orton yet. I think he'll have another person. He'll probably, in Money in the Bank, he'll probably have another. It might be another match between him and AJ. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't know. After I Quit match, I don't know if you can. I don't know how much more personal you can get after I
Right.
Quit match.
Hell in a Cell.
I think. Nah.
No, it's too summary.
Yeah. I think. I don't know. I feel like maybe LA Knight. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know who's gonna face Cody outside of Orton at this point. Maybe because they kept Gunther on Raw, right? He was still on. They kept him on Raw, or did they move him to SmackDown?
He is challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam.
Okay. Oh, damn! I forgot about that. We was just talking about Drew and all of them. Bro, I didn't even think about Gunther. But yeah, in terms of, I feel like whoever wins Money in the Bank will probably cash in on the WWE Championship. I think that might be. Yeah, I think that might be what happens. And so, it's just so much that can happen from now until SummerSlam. So I'm not sure, but I think Cody will retain regardless. So I'm like I think he'll probably up until SummerSlam. So like he'll go against Orton. That'll probably be a feud that goes past SummerSlam, and then whether Orton beats him or not, I don't know. I think we'll see what happens for Money in the Bank, if he even has a World Championship match. But but yeah, I'm cool with the I Quit match. I'm anxious to see how hardcore this match will be, because the last I Quit match was not. It wasn't a typical I Quit match that, like, blood and guts, like, really, like, I'm here to like beat the hell out of you to make you say I quit. It didn't have that feel like it used to be back in, like, I remember seeing it on Orton, they had their match, Batista and Cena, and I remember Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle at what was it, at King of the Ring, the old King of the Ring pay-per-views, like the I Quit matches haven't hit the same like they used to. And so
Hopefully
hopefully
they can
this
get
one,
back
yeah, hopefully this one hits.
to some
Yeah,
of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
moving right along, we're gonna go LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes happens next. But before that, there's a backstage segment. Belair and Cargill actually announced that they are going to defend their tag team titles in a triple threat match at Clash at the Castle. So more information for that coming in the coming weeks as we build up to Clash. Then after that, obviously we go to the ring. Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, they have a really quick match. It's not super duper long. LA Knight ends up getting the victory in a roll up on Hayes. Then after that, Tiffany Stratton is backstage pitching to Nia Jax to team up with her. Jax doesn't respond to Stratton and just walks off. Um and then Bailey says that Bailey comes out. She's in the ring. She says that she's entering uncharted territory when she faces Piper Niven at Clash at the Castle. And then Piper and Chelsea come out and interrupt her. And Chelsea says that Bailey is a loser and Niven will beat her and all this other stuff, just running her down and stuff like that. But then Bailey actually hops on the mic and puts Niven over, and Niven snatches the mic from Green and tell Bailey that she's better than her. Niven says Bailey is going to be looking up at the lights as Niven is announced as the new WWE Women's Champion. Quick, real quick responses to that. Just that moment, those couple of moments.
I mean, you want to talk about a hangover effect? It's definitely in Bailey's title run right now. I mean, at least with Cody's, we've had like some compelling stuff and everything along those lines. With Bailey, we've had nothing. It hasn't been great, and it's been disappointing because, like you said, I don't think they had a plan afterwards. I don't think they had any idea what to do after Bailey won the title from Io. It was just kind of let's wing it, see what happens. At least with Cody, you're like, okay, we have plans for SummerSlam and everything like that, but how do we get there? With Bailey, it just seems like, well, I think this woman might deserve a title shot, so let's give her a chance, and let's see how the crowd reacts to that.
She's not the biggest, best woman on that brand. There are two women that are overshadowing her. Again, it's the same. It's the same thing as Mercedes Moné. There are two women that are overshadowing her on that show that you believe either one could snap their finger and take that title from her. Who honestly believes Bailey could beat Bianca Belair? Who honestly believes Bailey could beat Jade Cargill? I mean, unless she outsmarts them, there's nothing that she can do. That's the problem with having two big twin tower people on that show and them not being in the main title chase right now. I mean, Bailey would make a really great women's intercontinental champion, you know?
Her beating Bianca is more believable than Jade, but
True.
Obviously they've had a rivalry in the past, so like I think is more believable. But I think now I don't know, because I feel like Bailey's come up from her NXT days in terms of like in-ring like skills. I feel like I know injuries play a part in that. You know, I feel like how she was when she was, the lovable Bailey, the with the ponytail, all the happy-go-lucky baby face. I think during that time, like that was when she was at her best. Having going against Charlotte and Becky and Bianca, of course, four horsewomen. And then I remember the NXT match she had with Bianca, which kind of like really set the tone for where
You mean Sasha?
Women's rep. Sasha, yes, I'm sorry, yeah, where the word where the set the tone for where women's wrestling was going to like go. And so I think now that, man, I love Bailey, but like I don't know, man. I just think, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think. Like I don't, because I don't want to say that she doesn't deserve the world, but I just want them to do right by her. And
She doesn't deserve the world championship. She's not a believable world champion. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. She doesn't she is the perfect Mick Foley. She just doesn't have her rock. She doesn't have somebody that's so detestable, somebody that will do these crude and terrible things to you that
they
the
gone.
fans
They gone,
yeah.
Mike. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
sorry, yeah.
one hasn't returned yet. And the
Right.
other one is
Right.
with another company, and then
Right.
one is on Raw, and probably is going to be taking her time off for a very long time.
Right.
So the believable people that she confused with, like, outside of Bianca Belair, all of those women they're spoken for or either like taking time off, and we don't want to see them go against her again because we've seen it too much, and so
Yeah.
it's like
Oversaturated from the years.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it sucks, but that's the reality, Other people got to get their
Speaking
shot, and yeah.
speaking of sucks, let's go to the main event of SmackDown. It is a 6-man tag team match. Kevin Owens and the Street Profits versus the Bloodline with Paul Heyman. This match honestly was a sleeper. Could have walked you past it. Honestly, I could have called this match with my eyes closed and told you exactly what was going to happen. Obviously, the match starts with the Street Profits and Kevin Owens coming in hot. And then, like I said, they're doing all their moves and everything, hitting their moves on the Bloodline. Then obviously somehow the Bloodline does something cheap, dirty. And then they begin to beat down on Montez Ford because he sells the best out of all of them. And then Ford manages somehow to tag in Owens. Owen crushes Sikoa in the corner with the senton. Sikoa kicks out after Owen swanton off the top. Then Sikoa blocks a stunner, and then after super kick exchange, Owens drops Sikoa with the stunner. Tonga pulls Sikoa out of the ring. A melee happens at ringside. After that, Ford leaps over the barricade and lands on everybody. Sikoa hits Ford with the chair, causing disqualification. Kevin Owens and the Street Profits win the match. After the match, the Bloodline attack everybody. Sikoa spears Ford. Sikoa and the Tongans put Owens through an announce table, with the old Shield power bomb. And SmackDown goes off the air. Real quick, what were you guys' thoughts on those moments?
Predictable.
Very, very predictable.
Yeah.
My go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say how long is Bobby out?
For a little bit. Bob's injury has him sidelined for a little bit. So yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, like, maybe if he comes back later on, maybe helps out with KO.
But Bobby needs to go to Raw and fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. He does not need to be flanked by the Street Profits.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that whole thing has been snake bitten from the jump. It seemed like a really great idea at the start of it, and I was kind of believing it. But then they tried to turn him heel, and then they had to revert back to face because nobody would boo him. And then and now Bobby's injured, and it's just So I don't know. Predictable. Like I said, I've obviously you're basically just, again, WWE's in a holding pattern right now. Your big main stuff isn't happening on SmackDown yet because Roman isn't back. Once Roman gets back, the big stuff will start happening on SmackDown. Right now, Raw is the show to watch because Raw is the one where you got CM Punk potentially returning real soon. You got main event Jey Uso, and then obviously that World Heavyweight Championship. You're just waiting on Drew to take that title back. As well as Chad Gable has been cooking over there on Raw. So Raw right now has the most momentum, I would say, out of all the wrestling shows we reviewed. Again, it's just a show to watch right now. So, I mean, like I said, SmackDown is kind of in a holding pattern right now, waiting on Roman to get back. And that's the problem with having your best wrestler be a part-timer. So once Roman gets back, things pick up. You find out what the future lies in for Cody Rhodes, as well as where the future lies for the new Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0.
Probably might see Rock too. Who knows? SummerSlam.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
might get both Roman and Rock. We'll see what happens with that. I am hoping next week, if I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off, but if I can somehow get a picture with The Rock at the UFL Championship game next week,
That'd be crazy.
That would be sweet.
Because you know he's gonna be there. So like,
Yeah, of
like,
course,
it's
of course.
it's his league. So I'm like, I'm trying my best, but I don't know. We'll see. But
For sure.
yeah, I'm hoping we get to see The Rock at SummerSlam and Roman too. But just gotta wait.
And that's where kind of we're at right now with wrestling, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I need everybody, if you love this podcast, to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to make sure that you get the latest news, latest updates when we drop new content, that you are the first to find out about it. And thanks again, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you. Until next time, peace.